welcome. Thanks for joining me on this presentation with AndreaJones. Andrea is the founder of the Savvy Social School. And in her presentation, we're going to be talking about the social media sales funnel, which is such a cool topic. In this presentation, you're going to learn how to create a content system that showcases your expertise. You'll learn how to maximize and remix your blogs, your podcasts, your videos for social media, so you don't have to do a ton of extra work. I'm all about rehashing and remixing. You're also going to learn how much time that you should spend growing your audience. In fact, it's not as much as you think that it's going to be. I love this conversation with Andrea and can't wait to see what you guys learn.
All right, let's talk about the social media sales funnel. And the sales funnel that I'm going to share with you today can work for either products or services. So whether you sell products like a digital course or physical products, or if you sell a service like a one-to-one service, coaching, consulting, that sort of thing, this sales funnel will work for either scenario. But if you're sitting there going, what the heck's a sales funnel? Never fear, I will walk you through it. So a sales funnel is simply the path. Yeah, the sales funnel is simply the path that your social media followers take from not knowing you exist to giving you money for the things that you do. So it's just the direction of that. And I like to think of sales funnels as dating. So if you think about dating, if you're on the prowl, you're on the hunt, you're looking for your person, you could run up to someone and go, oh my gosh, you're my person. Yes, marry me, right? That may feel a little bit extreme. Maybe it works for you, but it wouldn't work for me. Most of us need that dating process. We need a first date, exchange numbers, meet the parents, and then we can move on to that huge commitment. So if you think about that in terms of social media, when you're connecting with people online, typically you're connecting with them for the first time or you're in that dating process. So how can you convince them to take the next step with you? That's what the sales funnel is. All right, so here's what it looks like in a chart and a graph. So we've got 4 elements of our sales funnel, and today I'm going to walk you through the 4 different elements and a few things that you could do along the way. We're going to spend a lot of time on that second element, the build stage of the funnel, because that's oftentimes where we get stuck with like, how should we post? How long should we spend on this? So we'll spend some time there, as well as the attract, convert, and advocate stage of the funnel as well. All right, so let's talk about the attract stage of the social media sales funnel. It's the first element, it's the first section of your sales funnel, and it really is the biggest portion of this. So if we think about the dating scenario I gave you, not every single person you date is going to turn into a long-term relationship. So when you're thinking about building out your social media sales funnel, not every single person who likes a photo, comments on a photo is going to turn into a customer, but we still want to have that opportunity. We still want to be open to those opportunities. So when you are in the attract phase of your funnel, you're really focused on getting new people aware of your products, your services, and your offers. So your whole goal is to get new people in. You're really looking at constantly reaching those new people. So that's your actionable. And how you know it's working is if you're seeing certain metrics increase. So if you're seeing more impressions, more video views, or profile views, then you know you are attracting the right people. So oftentimes when someone approaches me and they go, hey, Andrea, my social media strategy isn't working, the first thing I want them to look at is this: are you reaching new people? Because if you're not reaching new people and you just have the same people over and over again, then that could be an area of improvement. That's usually why your social media isn't working. You're just not reaching enough new people. So if you take a look in your metrics, this is behind the scenes in Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, wherever you're hanging out, you'll see some of these things: impressions, reach, video views, and profile views. Now, to attract new people to your audience, we're going to use what I call the Savvy Engagement Growth Recipe. So it's a very simple recipe that you can use to find and connect with those new people on social media. So the first ingredient in the recipe is a like. You're simply going to like someone's post, whether you're on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. Like is the first step. It's almost like when you're dating and you just make eye contact with someone across the room. It's a low commitment, but you're letting them know, hey, I see you. Next up, we have our comment. So comment is taking it a little step further. You're starting conversations with people. We have the follow. Sometimes it's called subscribe. Sometimes it's also called like. If you're looking on something like Facebook, it's a page like. You're really connecting with that person, taking it to a deeper level. You're saying, hey, I want to keep in touch with you. I want to see what you're all about. And then the dessert of this recipe is the direct message. So you're sending direct messages and you're responding to direct messages of people within your community. So what you're going to do with this recipe and what you're going to do with this recipe on a daily basis is take it and apply it to new people. But you may be thinking, how do I find those new people? How do I find who are my people? Well, there are a few different ways that you can do this and a few different categories where you can find the right people. So let's talk about who to engage with. You can engage with your current followers. So if you're scrolling through your Instagram feed or you're on LinkedIn or you're on Twitter, just scroll through your feed and start engaging with some of those people. Apply the recipe, like, comment, follow, direct message. You can also apply this to targeted hashtags. So for instance, if you are a health coach, you may want to look into hashtags that are current. So right now we are in the pandemic and I know I'm looking for a juice cleanse to get me out of this funk that I'm in. So if you are a health coach and you're helping people with their weight loss, you may want to look at people who are using hashtags like that. I'm making this one up. I don't know if it exists, but it should. Hashtag coronavirus belly. Like, I want to get rid of this coronavirus belly. So start engaging with those people. Those are your people. And if that hashtag doesn't exist, I'm going to go make it right now.
It should definitely exist.
Right? I think we're all into like that space together. Now, with the hashtags, I do want to point out that you're looking for the hashtags that your audience is using and not that you would use. So our tendency is to use hashtag health coach or hashtag weight loss coach because we're that's what we are, but we want to use the hashtags that our audience is using. So maybe hashtag juice cleanse or hashtag Corona Valley. You can also engage with people who are engaging with your posts. So there are people out there applying the Savvy Engagement Growth recipe. They're looking for you and they're liking and commenting on your posts, so you can engage with them. You can also look at competitors, so people in the space who maybe they are a weight loss coach, but they focus on the keto diet and you focus on some other diet, and their audiences may be similar to yours. Then you can start engaging with their followers. You can look at other industry leaders. An example I like to use here is let's say you're a yoga instructor and you're starting your podcast and you want to start building up your audience, go look at someone like Yoga with Adriene. She has a fantastic YouTube channel, but she doesn't have a podcast. I'm sure all of her followers would love to listen to your podcast. So go start engaging with those people. And you can also do certain locations once we're allowed to congregate together again. I think that, looking at conferences, looking at specific gyms, looking at healthcare facilities, people are checking in here on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. And so you can start networking and engaging with those people who are in those locations. One thing I will say is that you're a human. So behave like a human. I think sometimes we get so excited about our offer. We get so excited about what we do that we go into instant mode of almost acting like a creep. Like, the guy from You, the Netflix show You, where he's like literally stalking this person. And then he's like, you're the one. I think sometimes we do that with our people because we know that what we have to offer is exactly what they need. But we're going to take it slow. Date them a little bit before jumping right into this. Now, a common question that I get is, this feels like a lot. How much time should I be spending on all of this? And so I want you to give yourself a little bit of time every day. Spend 10 to 20 minutes per day. 10 minutes is a really great way to start with this strategy. You don't have to do all of the things I listed here. Just pick one, try it out for 10 minutes a day. And this is a lot like working out. So we could decide that we're going to go to the gym and we could go, or we're going to decide we're going to work out and we can go on a Saturday and spend 5 hours working out. Are we going to get muscles? No. If we didn't have muscles before, 1 5-hour workout session is not going to get you muscles. Okay? It's daily repetitive practice that's going to get you those muscles. So when you're looking at social media, it's the daily repetitive practice that's going to build up your audience, and it's going to build up the audience of those people who actually like and trust you enough to give you money for the thing that you have to offer. All right, so that is the attract stage or phase of the sales funnel. Let's move on to the build stage. So, as we're attracting all of these new people, we need content that nurtures them into becoming a client, into becoming a customer. And I want you to think of this as going on that date. So, yes, you asked them on the date, but now you have to show up on the date and have an interesting conversation with them. You have to ask them questions, get to know them, tell them a little bit about yourself. So that's what we're going to do in the build stage of the sales funnel. So the things that you want to look out for in the build stage are your focus is to build trust with your current audience and get them used to engaging with your content. You are going to share your knowledge, your expertise, and your influence. And we're really looking for follow through. So we're looking for things like follows, likes, comments, website clicks. If they're clicking over to your link in your bio, emails, signups, like a newsletter list. So if you are seeing things like more people look at your profile, more impressions on your posts, but you're not also seeing people follow you, like your posts and comment, then you know that you have a problem with the build stage of the funnel. Okay. So you may be attracting enough people, but if you're not seeing those people engage with your posts, they may not be the right people, or your message may not be connecting with them. So let's talk a little bit about that with what I call the social media content system. And there's 5 pillars of content for this system. The first pillar is promotional content. This is easy. This is you sharing your product, your service, your offer. You can also talk about what I call the next step. So, your lead magnet, a free consultation call, something like that that really helps. You're asking them for something. You also have your educational content. This is where you showcase your expertise. I like to use a tip of the day here, or even just something as simple as some advice or a thought that you had or conversation that you had with a client or customer that really shows that you know what you're talking about. We've got our community content, which really focuses on showcasing that there's a larger kind of community and network at play here. So, say for instance, like one of my clients, for instance, is all about keto, and she has her own book called Keto Green 16. And so, with her, she's talking a lot about everything related to keto diet. So, if, for instance, people are talking about there's like a keto bad breath that happens sometimes, maybe she's going to share an article on that someone else posted, but add her own perspective to it.
Is that, can I pause you first? Is that Anna Quebeca?
Yes.
Yes, I love her, Keto Green. We're actually part of a lot of the speakers who are on here. We're all part of the same community. It's the Mindshare community, and she's
Yes.
a Mindshare person. And I know I've done keto before, and I've certainly got that keto breath.
Yeah. And it's something so relatable, right? So I think that's where the community aspect comes in, is like we're all kind of experiencing this thing together if you've
Yes.
ever.
Yeah, that's a great example too.
Yeah. Awesome. I love the community there. Anyways, okay. So the fourth pillar is entertainment. Now, we all like seeing funny things on social media. I don't know about you, but when I log on, I like to see like cute dogs and cats, all about it. So if you can add in an element of entertainment to your posts, this really helps give you a rounded strategy. Now, it doesn't have to be a funny meme. It doesn't have to be a cat video. It could simply be a behind the scenes photo. If you think about this like television, we've got certain channels like we have the reality TV show channel, and we've got like the history channel, and we've got all of these channels. So for your entertainment pillar here, think about how you can share something that's almost like a reality TV show. What can you share about yourself, your company, your business that lets people in a little bit and feels like they're part of the journey? The last pillar is the engaging pillar. And really, the key for this pillar is to get people to engage with your content. So, if you've heard of things like the Facebook algorithm is hiding my posts, or the Instagram algorithm is the bane of my existence, the algorithm is simply trying to deliver content to people that they would engage with. And so, if you are creating content as a part of your strategy that is engaging, you are giving the algorithm what it wants. And even though it's not directly leading to a sale or something in your offer, um, it's training your audience to engage with your post so that when you do have that promotional post, they actually see it. So, a great way to do this is asking a question. Specifically, polls are doing well right now. What type of yoga do you like? When's your favorite time to work out? What's your favorite fatty food? Like, all of these things are great examples of how you can layer in questions in an engaging way around your topic and kind of start a conversation on your page. All right, I have a few examples that I'm just going to click through really quickly, just so you can kind of see this in action. So here's an example of a promotional post that leads to a free e-guide. So this is 4 steps to create your workplace network. And so this is a way that you can promote an offer with it being the next step. So I mentioned that sometimes when we're promoting, directly promoting our service or offer. Sometimes when we're promoting the lead magnet, we're promoting the free consultation. But you don't have to have that. Even if you have a simple strategy, this is an example of a strategy that they're simply asking for a DM at the very bottom of their post. DM us if you're interested. And a DM means direct message. So they're sending you a message indicating interest. You don't have to have a fancy lead magnet set up, but you do have to ask what you want from your audience. So send us a direct message, leave a comment, sign up for our e-guide, just make it very clear. All right, a few more examples. Here's an example of an educational post where this therapist and life coach just listed 10 simple things you can do today to improve your day and move things forward. And it doesn't have to be too complicated, but really you're just showcasing your expertise here. Here's an example of an engagement post from one of our clients that we're asking a question. So the purpose of this post is to get people to leave comments. What accomplishments are you proud of? And so now people are in the comments participating in the conversation on the page, which is just a beautiful thing to see. And you're giving the algorithm what it wants. So you've got the 5 pillars. And what you want to do is assign those pillars to each day. So, promotional, educational, community, entertainment, and engaging. And so, here's what a calendar could look like. This is just a sample calendar in January, I picked randomly. And so, if you assign the pillars to each day, this cuts down on the decision fatigue, the deciding of what you should post each day. And there's no wrong answer. You get to decide, but you have to make a decision. And then once you have decided that, you want to assign each pillar a theme or a design. So here's what this could look like. I'll take the orange square in the middle as an example. That's question of the day. So every time you do a question of the day, it's going to look like that half orange graphic. Now it's going to look repetitive to you because you're seeing it all the time. But remember, your posts are mixed into hundreds of thousands of other posts on the feed. So you want to have a consistent look to your posts. And I use a tool called canva.com to create graphics. It's canva.com. I'll show you one more example of this, how you can have a layout of all the different kind of themes. And you can see at the top left-hand corner in that blue color, and then the bottom right in that purple color. It's the same design, just different colors. So you can switch it up like that as well. And what I want you to do is set aside 1 hour a week to create your social media content. So, 1 hour a week to write out your 5 pillars, to have the designs, to write a caption. And you can either do it in a Google Doc or you can schedule it through a tool like later.com or Traject Social. And these are great ways to get yourself into a habit. Now, I will say, when you sit down to do this for the first time, you may not get to the 1 hour mark. You may go over, or you may only get 2 posts in 1 hour. That's okay. It's almost like that exercise or weightlifting example where you got to start out somewhere. I'm on the 10-pound weights. That's my level. That's where I'm starting. And that's okay. I will get to the 50-pound weights eventually, but you've got to start with where you are. So if anything, I want you to give yourself the parameter of 1 hour a week and see how much of this you can do in an hour. And then you'll notice over time, you'll be able to do more and more within that hour. And a lot of my students are at the place now where they're doing the 5 pillars of content very comfortably within the hour. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the last two elements of the funnel because the first two are the most important, the attract phase and the build phase. This one, the convert phase, I mean, this is where we all spend a lot of time thinking about it. But honestly, if you have the attract and the build phase down, this is the easiest part. So our focus is to get the sale. We're going to encourage people to buy now. And how you know if it's working is if you're making money. It's just that simple. So a lot of this happens in email marketing. So I'm sure there's a lot of other resources, even within the summit, who can speak to that a little bit more. But you've got to be able to attract the right people and nurture those people, and social media is a great way to do that. Lastly, we have our advocate stage, which sometimes we forget about. But this is actually really important because this is where you get virality. This is where people will start marketing for you, and you can just sit back and relax. They will be doing the attract phase for you. So in the advocate phase, we're focusing on delivering an amazing product, service, or offer, and just really having an outstanding experience. We want people to talk about it on social media. So you want to remind people to share their experience. So you have to have a great experience and you can remind them to share. And your success metrics for this are tags, reviews, and user-generated content. So a great example would be one of my clients. I was on a client call. She said something about the service, and I was like, "Oh, can you write that in a LinkedIn review?" Just asking her. She was like, "Yeah, sure." And then, of course, she didn't because we all get busy. So what I did was I sent her an email. "Hey, you said you wanted to write this as a LinkedIn review. Just as a reminder, this is what you said on the call." And I basically wrote the review for her. And she was like, "Okay, great." And she copied and pasted it onto LinkedIn. And sometimes it's as simple as asking and giving people the resources they need to be able to leave that review for you. So make sure that you're asking because that's the kind of marketing that works for you. Um, so yeah, that's the sales funnel. Here's a few tools for success at the end that I'll leave on the screen. And then Nicole, if you had any follow-up questions.
Yeah, so I've been, just so you guys know, Andrea and I are having a little bit of lag time, which is why I've been kind of sitting here silent in the background. Um, I do have some questions, and I just wanted to say that was an awesome presentation and lots of really juicy information there. I love what you're saying about, I think it's a very apt metaphor about working out and this whole like you're gonna go to the gym for 5 hours on Saturday and like get yourself like sorted out for the week, is just not really like, what we want to be doing is just like 10 to 20 minutes every day. That feels like what you've uh, what you've added for us is just like these small bite-sized chunks that will really start to like snowball into, a good effect. So I think that people get overwhelmed about how much time should I be spending on social media. um 10 to 20 minutes, we can all carve that time out. And an hour a week just to curate your content is a great idea too. The question that I have specifically is around platform. So I think that specifically in this conference, we're talking to wellness entrepreneurs, and I know that when you're getting started or you've already been in business, there is a lot of anxiety around like, but do I need to be on every platform, right? So can you talk us through platforms, and also if you have any recommendations for which platforms do you think are the biggest bang for a business's buck if they're in the wellness industry?
Yes. So platforms is a tough one, and I like to ask two questions when we're thinking about which platform we should be on. The first question is, if you're doing your own social media, what platform are you already on personally? So, for instance, if I say, yes, you should be on LinkedIn today, go sign up, and then you sign up and log in and go, I don't get it and I don't like it and I'm not going to use it, then it doesn't even matter if I said it's the best platform ever. If you don't like it, you're not going to use it. So, start with what you know and start with what you already like. But to add to that, there are certain platforms that are doing really well right now. So, we're recording this and the summit will be in June 2020. So right now, Facebook and Instagram are still the top platforms, especially for wellness businesses. So, Facebook and Instagram. Do you have to be on all of them or even both of those two platforms? No. Start with one platform, get good at it, spend 90 days at least getting good at it, and then you can upgrade from there. I personally think that Instagram is a fantastic platform to start with. And oftentimes, when I get a new student in one of my programs, I'm really guiding them to start with Instagram because it's easy to get started and it's easy to build an audience there. It's easy to connect with people and to start participating in your own space and to get real time feedback on what's working and what's not. Um, Facebook is great if you're going to start delving into paid advertising, but you really want to figure out what works first with organic before you start diving into paid and doing some advertising. So yeah, Instagram's really great, and then Facebook is a second contender if I'm going to recommend platforms for people to start with.
Yeah, and I would say that I agree with both of those myself too. And something that I love about, I'm glad that you kind of hedged Instagram out there a little bit more, because I think when you're first getting started, I'm sure you'll agree, like Instagram is a great, because when you think about Facebook and people you have to become Facebook friends with someone before you can kind of have that interaction, unless you're interacting with someone's business page and you're kind of commenting on it. With Instagram, you can start like some of your directions, like start searching out hashtags. As long as someone doesn't have a private account, you can just start commenting below their posts. You can start at you sending them you can send them a DM. You can start, I mean, that's like, really asking them to marry you, but like, I'm just saying, like, the way that Instagram is not fully gated,
Yeah.
it gives you a lot more freedom to even just liking someone's post, like what a low commitment way of just like searching out a hashtag in your industry, like Corona Belly, um,
Yes.
Corona Belly 2020.
I'm
and
here for it.
and just start going down that list and start like, it's like, I think for me it's one of the easiest ways to just start getting your feet wet. And so yeah, I think I'll second what you're saying about start with Instagram. Facebook is a great place to be, especially for the advertising, but that's kind of like training, not 101 but 201.
Yeah.
But speaking of 201, I think this is a little bit more of more strategy, but do you have anything to tell us about automation? So what about a lot of the people watching this are very busy practitioners, and I know that we've said 10 to 20 minutes a day or 1 hour, but what about posting? Do you have some tips for us about that, platforms or strategies?
Yeah. So automation only works when you already know it works. So you do have to put in some of that elbow grease to get started so that you figure out what works. But there are some great ways you can automate. So, for instance, if you have created a bunch of recipes that are blog posts that always do really well, you can put them into a tool like I have Social Report on the screen here, or there's others like Meet Edgar or Smarter Q that will kind of revive those over time. And you can set the limit. So let's say you had 100 recipes that you can put into this tool. You can say, I want a recipe to post once a week on Thursdays at 3 o'clock. You're not going to repeat a recipe for another year at that point. So you have a lot of content that's on repeat that's just automatically going out for you. So, but you have to kind of put in the work to create those and to test if it's working. So if you just put in a bunch of posts into an automation tool, but they're kind of like, wah, wah, nobody cares, then it doesn't even matter if you've automated it. So make sure you're automating things that actually are working.
Right. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think that this is so much good information. I think this is a great starting point for people. I'd just love to hear how people can get in touch with you. How can they learn more about your services?
Absolutely. So I have a free course. It's called the Social Media Success Framework, and you can find it by going to onlinedrea.com/free. And it walks you through things like I talked about here, like the 5 pillars of content. But it kind of gives you a framework to build out your own strategy. So it comes with a workbook, and it's basically an outline of the things that I teach in my programs. But it really gives you like a top to bottom outline of what you should be doing on social media.
That's awesome. And I'm going to put the link to that down below the video so people can grab that. Um, Andrea, that this has been so awesome. Thank you so much for being here with us. You provided such value, especially in kind of a murky area where people don't. I mean, you combined like it's kind of like, damn, girl, you combined two difficult ones, the social media and the funnel stuff too.
Yeah.
It's like that's where everybody's just like, I don't know what to do. Social media, funnels, how do I put them together? So thank you for demystifying some of those concepts and a really nice framework for us to work off of.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This has been fun.
Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you being here with us. I hope that in this session you learned something impactful and something powerful that's going to help transform your business. Before I leave, I just wanted to let you know that this session was sponsored by my business, Brand Better, branding, websites, funnels, and more for the wellness entrepreneur. If you want to learn more about my business, you can head over to brandbetter.online to find out more. And I also wanted to make sure to invite you to join me on Friday, the last day of the conference, July 3rd, for a half-day masterclass where I'm going to help you put this all together, the Wellness Business Accelerator, and make sure that we take all of the great concepts that you just learned in all of these amazing presentations with these great rock star speakers and make a plan for your business. So it's going to be live and interactive. Check out your email to make sure what time it is on Friday, but it is going to be a live half-day masterclass. So I hope that you join me. I'd love to see you there. We're going to get some really good work done and make sure that we take all of these concepts and they're not just these, just sit and watch and take some notes and not actually employ any of these strategies. I want to make sure that these are real actionable things that you put in your business. So join me there on Friday. Go over and check out brandbetter.online to learn more about my business. And I'll see you on the next interview. Bye.